So whatever.
Next up, Square Enix.
Yep.
Oh my God, where'd my article? Square Enix reveals its plans to establish new studios and acquire others.
I'm going to make a prediction here. Square Enix is going to go out of business. Like, they're making all the wrong moves right now.
Yeah, they sold off all of their Western IPs for $300 million, almost, as we discussed last podcast.
Yeah,
and now they're
Raider.
like, well, let's just get some more.
Well, that, and they want to, the whole thing is they want to get NFT games going. For some reason, Square Enix president is like, NFT games, that's what we're going to do.
Let's not do that.
And they're investing all this money into blockchain technology and all this crap. And it's like, not good. They had their...
It's not it.
They had their financials come out, and they basically were held aloft by Final Fantasy 14. All the money they make from that game. And I can understand now why that this president is like, NFTs are the way of the future. He's looking at Final Fantasy 15 or 14. And what's the difference to him between that and an NFT game? Like, you could trade the sword in the game as an NFT.
Yeah.
Like, and we could take a cutoff time every time it's traded or whatever. And you don't earn money in the game by killing things like gil or whatever. You play for X amount of hours and you get X amount of gil or whatever, you know.
It's not gil. It's going to be some kind of
no, it'll be
cryptocurrency.
Gil. Well, it'll be the gil cryptocurrency or something like that. Like something like that. And then you'll trade it for this NFT sword or NFT shield and whatever. It's just like, oh no. So it's good and bad. Like, Square Enix is going to go under, but that means they're going to get bought up by somebody.
Yeah.
Who will like have the IPs and deal with the IPs. But even then, like, okay, you own the Final Fantasy IP. Well, what do you actually own there? Like, it's not like they make sequels to Final Fantasies ever, really.
No, not true sequels.
It's always just the name Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But
unless you have like an X2 or an X3.
Well, and yeah, true. But they've only done that a couple times, really. So you own the Final Fantasy name. Each game is like different. It's not like you play Final Fantasy 8 and then Final Fantasy 9 and you're like, they're the same game. It's like
they're not.
They're RPGs, yes, but other than that, they don't play the same.
No, they're and completely different storylines, completely different worlds.
Well, sometimes they do like using Evil East a lot as the world, but it's just always different characters, different gameplay types. Like, you're drawing in Final Fantasy 8 and you're using items to learn spells and abilities in Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10 Sphere Grid, Final Fantasy 11 MMO, Final Fantasy 12 is like a fake MMO style license grid game. Final Fantasy 13 is all like auto battler style, and like they're just so different all around. So yeah, I mean, the IPs for Final Fantasy, not really worth anything. Dragon Quest, on the other hand, I would argue is a way more valuable like franchise for them in the East.
Yeah.
And it could be bigger in the West, but again, that one is like the same producer produces every Dragon Quest game, and he is very specific about things he does. Like, there's no voice acting in them. Like, I mean, they added voice acting into the American release, but yeah, I don't know. And purchasing a Japanese company isn't as easy. Like, Microsoft couldn't go in and be like, we own Square Enix now.
No.
Like, there's laws in Japan that you have to have, like, the owner has to be a Japanese citizen, I think, so they could hire somebody to run the company's own it. Anyways, it's not like Microsoft. So if anything, it'd be like Nintendo buys them, Sega buys them, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But like, how much could Square Enix be worth? They sold off a third of their catalog for $300 million. Like, $1 billion. Could someone come in and buy Square Enix tomorrow? Like, Nintendo could do it like that.
$5.9 billion market cap.
Yeah, I guess so. But Nintendo could do that, no problem.
Yeah.
And when they go out of business, it'll be even less. So, but yeah, $300 million to sell off Tomb Raider, Crystal Dynamics, IDOS, whatever. And they're going to take that money and invest it into opening new studios, which is going to cost more than $300 million.
Yeah.
Invest in blockchain. I guess maybe they just wanted to have more studios in the East, like in Japan, closer to the home office. I don't know.
Nintendo's only worth $55 billion.
Yeah, but Nintendo has about like $100 billion in the bank. So Yeah.
Microsoft, 2.3 trillion.
Yeah. Nintendo's got a lot of money in the bank from the Wii days and the Switch days. Especially the Wii days when the Wii cost about $50 for them to make, and they sold like a quadrillion of them.
Sega, 3.6 bill.
See, like, anyways, Sega, I don't know. Sega IP is worth, like, I don't know. Is the Sega IP worth more or less than Final Fantasy? I guess the Final Fantasy name is worth a lot, but
yeah,
the Square IPs, I don't know.
Anyways.
Rest in peace, Square Enix.
Yep, could be.
I mean, they've always made the stupidest decisions.
Oh, yeah,
like
for sure.
The Final Fantasy Spirits Within movie that almost tanked them. Yeah.
They had to get in there, get their movie chops going.
Well, they just, whatever his name, Hironobu Sakaguchi, just really wanted to be a movie director.
Yep.
So they set up a whole studio in Hawaii for him to make a movie, and it was like, oh, this movie didn't make any money. Damn it.
I liked it.
It was fine, but man, if you revisit it now, it's like, ooh, this is like a PS2 cutscene. In fact, probably worse than a PS2 cutscene. I think like the Final Fantasy X cutscenes probably look better than Spirits Within.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because didn't Final Fantasy Spirits Within, wasn't that PlayStation 1 era?
I think so.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy X's cutscenes look better than the movie.
We'll do a hot side by side after the show and the post show.
Yeah, okay.